A man got married, promised to be faithful, to love, to cherish, to hold, till death do their part, sickness or health, you know the spiel. 2 kids. Last week, that man cheated on his wife with a prostitute. Now, he's going to see that prostitute regularly. Maybe once a week. But he's going to go back home to his wife every night, except that one night where he may stay part of the night or all of the night, depending on what lie he tells his wife. He's cheating on his wife. She doesn't know it. But the point of this podcast is not really about the wife. It's about the prostitute. Because there's one night with her and 6 nights with his wife. But again, I'll remind you, but that's his wife he's cheating on. Because you can't cheat on a prostitute. That doesn't even exist in any realm of logic. Can't cheat on a prostitute. You can cheat on a wife, but can't cheat on a prostitute. In fact, he's the type of guy that, even though he's going to see the prostitute once a week, he's also the type of guy that'll run into a woman in a grocery store or in a traffic situation, get pulled over by a female cop. Oh, by the way, here's my number. Oh, no, there he goes. Now he's cheating on the prostitute. No. And to be a cheater on the wife only requires one dalliance. That's illicit and illegal. He's already a cheater on a wife. It won't matter who else he gets involved with. He's a cheater on his wife. The prostitute can't cheat on a prostitute. He didn't tell her about the female cop that pulled him over and they exchanged numbers. He didn't tell the prostitute. Obviously, he didn't tell the wife about the prostitute, and he didn't tell the prostitute about the female cop. And the wife doesn't know about either one. But there's that one person in his office, too. And he decided this week to cheat with her. Now, the female cop owns a gun, but I doubt he's going to tell her that he's sleeping with a woman in his office, and the woman in the office doesn't know that he's sleeping with the female cop and he's sleeping with a prostitute. But he doesn't stop there. He goes to church, and there's a woman in his choir. And he doesn't stop there. He goes on a business trip, and there's a woman in another city at the convention. She doesn't even think he's married. She lives in that city. In fact, he took the ring off this week, dated her. All this happened in just a matter of a week or two. Isn't that crazy? You like this story? Oh, wait, there's more. He proposes to the woman that he met on the business convention center, whatever. They're getting married next week. And he explains to her how his job keeps him traveling. But once a month, he'll have 3 days in the city. And it'll be that way for the first 2 years. And she's okay with that. So he's got a wife who he's cheated on. Then he's got a prostitute and decided that he had an affair with the cop that pulled him over to give him a ticket, female cop. Then he ends up, if I can keep this up, with the woman in his office who doesn't know knows about the wife, but doesn't know about the prostitute, and definitely doesn't know about the female cop that pulled him over. Then he goes on a business trip, and he's meeting a woman in another city doing his business convention. Takes the ring off. She doesn't even know he's married, much less with the prostitute, having an affair with the cop that pulled him over and the woman in his office. Falls madly in love with him, gets married. But you can't cheat on a prostitute. So all those other dalliances after the one with the prostitute, fair game. He didn't cheat on the prostitute. He cheated on the wife. And he really didn't cheat on the wife with any of the other women until the prostitute. And everything else that he would do thereafter is irrelevant. He's a cheater. Whether it's one, whether it's two, or whether it's three, he's a cheater. He's already violated the covenant with his wife. Because the prostitute has no claim to him. Neither does the female cop, the female employee, and the woman in another city in a business convention. There's only one in all of this line of relations that has a claim that will hold up in man's court and God's court. But it's God's court that counts. He made a covenant with his wife. So the only person he could cheat on is the wife. You can't cheat on the prostitute. She has no claim, no covenant. The devil is a prostitute. The adversarial spirit is a prostitute. You've been cheating on God. And whatever else you've done after the prostitute has no more bearing than the first dalliance where you broke your covenant with Adonai. Let's not cheat. On God. Let's tell the devil no. I'm not going to cheat on God with a prostitute. Because when you break that covenant, and the reason why it's impossible to cheat on the prostitute is that once you break that covenant, you've made yourself hers. Because the covenant of a prostitute is not like the covenant of a wife. She doesn't need all of you to have you. For the prostitute to own you, any part of you makes you hers. And that's why you can't cheat on a prostitute. She needs the smallest piece of you to break your covenant with God. And you've turned your soul over to her. You've sold your spiritual claim, birthright with Adonai, not for a pot of red bean stew and venison, but for lust. Don't be the man that cheats on God for a 2-bit prostitute that will cause you to lose your own soul. What have you really gained in that little dalliance, that little moment? that was worth losing everything.